Amanda, congratulations on being our Commercial Interiors UK Lifetime Achievement Award winner 2025, sponsored by Panaz. How does it feel to receive that award?
Oh, it's lovely. It's wonderful. I'm very honoured, and thank you very much.
No, absolutely our pleasure, and thank you for joining me today for this conversation. Perhaps you can begin by telling me a little bit about your career journey into design.
Into design, art college for 4 years, graduated with a degree, an honours degree, in fact, in interior design. Came out thinking I knew it all and realising very quickly that you know nothing at all. But I was very lucky that my first job was actually with Ken, and I had to learn very, very quickly. And learn very fast on my feet because it was literally just him and I. I thought I was designing a big design practice, and said, "Where's everybody else?" And he says, "No, it's just you and me."
Yeah.
So
other than Ken, during those early years, did you have any particular sort of mentors or design icons that you looked to for guidance or inspiration?
I probably didn't have much time for that, to be honest. And I think Ken guided me a lot in that. We were very passionate about design, and there were lots of wonderful design magazines that were out at the time, lots of Italian Vogues and ID magazines. But my world had been very small up to that point. So suddenly I was exposed to an awful lot more. But you didn't really have a lot of time. It was get on with it and do it. So I think you just learnt fast on your feet.
So you mentioned that you met Ken when you first graduated and joined his practice. What were the differentiation between your roles within that company?
Oh, well, he would come up with the ideas and the concepts, and I was to sort of bring them to life, which sounds much easier than it was. But he had the vision, and the passion, and I was just like sort of starstruck and just like, oh, okay, right, let's get on with it. But it was good, and it was a good partnership.
Yeah.
And he was very practical, and it was all about the client. It was all about the client and how the client felt, and that was a very good exercise to learn very early on.
And the work was immediately within the hospitality sector?
Yeah, we did a few restaurants and bars before we did hotels, but he ultimately wanted to get back into hotels. Mm-hmm. And that was the first hotel we did together was One Devonshire Gardens. So that ended up becoming, our signature really. And the start of my career, to be honest, yes.
You've already mentioned One Devonshire Garden. Why was that such a signature project for you?
Well, there had been nothing like that up till that time. Everything was probably very floral and very country house hotel, but not in a good way, not even in a good way, in a very old-fashioned way. And we had no money to do it, but we somehow managed to make it look very expensive. Mm-hmm. And it was all about colour and making something very striking with colour. But everyone and friends would say to Ken, "Do you have any idea what you're doing? You've not even called it a hotel. You've locked the front door. You're off your head." He never had a doubt in his mind at that point that it wouldn't work.
Do you think he knew that he was pushing the hospitality boundaries at that time?
Probably, but I don't think that they were the reasons he did it for. He wanted people who were coming to Glasgow to be surprised and overwhelmed by where they had arrived, that there was this little gem in Glasgow, because Glasgow had such a bad reputation and everyone thought, oh, we're going to Glasgow, oh gosh. And he just wanted this little piece of heaven in Glasgow.
Yeah. And so from a design perspective, where did the inspiration come from for that specific colour palette and the design details that you put into the project?
There was a lot of lighting involved and using colour, very jewel-like colours. Mm-hmm. So where because we had huge big bay windows, and we would use lots of wonderful, beautiful fabrics that necessarily didn't cost a fortune, but because you used them in abundance, it made it look very, very rich. And it was quite a lesson. And you would take a room and it would be dark burgundy walls, dark burgundy carpet, dark burgundy silks, not real silks, but silk effect. And but with lighting, you would just take a little posy of flowers. I'd put a little spot on it, and it was just like a piece of art. And that was what created the drama, and seemed to work in that instance.
And then when you moved on and pivoted your sort of approach from that project to the Malmaison projects, often thought of as a real turning point for boutique hotels. What learnings from those projects did you then incorporate into the Malmaison brief and delivery?
Well, again, because these were all times in recession that we had never, ever had lots of money. And it was always investors' money, but our own money. And, it had to work.
Yeah.
So we just had to be very ingenious with how we did things. And we did take a trip to Paris, to Malmaison, Chateau Malmaison, on the outskirts of Paris, and Napoleon built a palace for Josephine, the Malmaison, and we went there, and it was incredible. And I think that gave us a lot of inspiration.
So you mentioned that Ken's role was really in operations, and your role was in design. Where were the crossovers and the collaborative moments within those two roles?
There was definitely a lot of. Ken was very interested in design,
right,
and had some great ideas. And I would run things past him, and he would just maybe say, "Well, yes, that's lovely, but let's look at this." And or we were just on the same wavelengths.
Yeah.
So it was a great collaboration. And latterly, we didn't even need to talk about it. Once we'd discussed what we were going to do, he would just let me get on with it. But early days, no, he guided me a lot, and it was a good partnership that worked very, very well together. I got a little bit involved in operations, but not too much.
If you had to really pinpoint a moment of Ken's legacy, what would you say that would be?
Oh, well, be brave, I think, and take chances. I mean, he was exceptionally brave, absolutely committed to what he was doing. As I said previously, he, go with the first spark. Don't forget where that started. Don't go veering down the wrong avenue. Come back to that original spark. And I think he put great faith in his troops, and he took his troops with him. And it was a joy to work there. Okay, there were always challenges, as there are, but he made it fun as well. Yeah. And I think he made an awful lot of careers in his time. And I know boys who started off as porters who are now running companies, and I think that's wonderful. Yeah. But he gave them that passion, to do it.
When we talk about you, Amanda, as a designer, how do you feel that your personal design approach has changed throughout your career?
I would say it's got less obvious. I like to try and design that it doesn't almost look as if it's designed. I don't like things to jar. I like things to flow. There has to be a flow and a kind of a constant consistency. I don't know, that's not the right word, but I think I want to make it feel less designed and more natural. But that's actually quite hard, because there's a lot of design involved in making it feel as if it couldn't have been any other way. And I think if you can create a space that is enjoyable, is comfortable, it's not fighting with everything else, then you've done your job. That it's just you don't feel let's go, let's move on. I'm quite comfortable here. This is nice and comfortable. The atmosphere's nice. The music's good. I'm enjoying this drink. This is nice. Let's just stay.
And do you think that there is any particular way to approach all of the different aspects that need to be considered within a hospitality setting successfully, or is it actually quite an intuitive process?
Well, I think Ken, one of his mantras was do the simple thing brilliantly. And if you can do the simple thing brilliantly, then you're halfway there, you know. And and also not to get over complicated. Don't, you know, don't try too hard, and don't push it, and don't force it, and try and make it as natural as possible.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
One of the things that we heard spoken about at the Commercial Interiors UK annual luncheon is the role of the designer and the responsibility of design within community and society. What impact do you feel that design has on people's well-being and community and society?
Well, again, I think if it flows well and it's natural and it doesn't feel forced, you're not fighting against that. You've got so many other things in the world that you're fighting, and emotions and situations, that if you're in a space that gives you some kind of semblance of calm, that's quite nice. Absolutely. That you don't have to think about that, as well as everything else that's going on in the world.
We've already heard lots of Ken's fantastic advice and those sayings that we could all, I'm sure, benefit from remembering. Is there any advice that you feel is really important for the next generation of designers to hear?
Probably just don't take yourself too seriously. Be prepared to have a laugh if you want. Stop making sense. It was a Talking Heads album, and he would just say, "We're too sensible here. Stop making sense." And sometimes you can get so serious about a matter, and at the end of the day, you know, how wrong is it going to be? I would sometimes be churned up inside because, is this right? Is it wrong? And he'd said, well, how wrong is it going to be? Well, it's not going to be a disaster. Well, that's good. In fact, it might be quite good. Well, that's even better. And you could talk your way around that. It's don't take yourself too seriously sometimes.
I think that's fantastic advice. I'm sure that many of Design Insider's readers and our members and guests will really appreciate that advice, in whatever role they have. Amanda, I know that you have an imminent trip away for a period of time to see your family, but when you return, what can we expect to see from you?
I'm working on something that hopefully will come off, and it was something that we were working on together. So it would be nice to be able to do that for Ken.
Well, I really hope that when that project comes to fruition, that we were able to sit down and talk about the details of that piece of work together again. It's been the greatest pleasure to sit with you today and hear all about your work and Ken's work. And I would just like to say how fantastic it is that you are our Lifetime Achievement Award winner. And thank you so much for all of your time and sharing all of this insight into your life and career. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. I've enjoyed it. Thank you.